Let's be real, man. Like, you gotta make money. Like, this is not a thing whether if you should or not. Like, you actually gotta make money. And I'm telling you because this is coming from someone who actually dropped out of college, and I was able to generate around $10,000 in pure profit after I dropped out of college. And let me give you a little bit of background because nowadays, like, you should be starting a business if you're a student. There's no reason why you shouldn't, because nowadays it's as simple as possible as it ever been. Because especially because of AI and all the opportunities we have. To give a little bit of context, I'm from Mexico, so English is not my first language, but I was studying in this very prestigious college called Tecnológico de Monterrey back in the day. And I'm telling you, it was complete nonsense. Like, my parents were spending around $1,200 in like a month, and the average graduate student like would earn like around $800. So yeah, like, it didn't make any sense. Like, the math didn't add up. And I want to have like this lifestyle of freedom and whatnot. And trust me, like, it was the best decision I've ever made to drop out of college. However, I'm not telling you to drop out of college because you need to have a plan. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're just not gonna drop out of college because like some random kid on YouTube is telling you to drop out of college. No, that's not the thing. But the whole idea here is that you should be actually starting a business, because 70% of the people don't actually use their degree. And I'm telling you because I asked ChatGPT, you know what I'm saying? Ask him like how many people do actually use their degree like after graduating, and only like 27%. So I'm talking about 73% of the people don't actually use their degree. So it really doesn't make any sense. So why I'm telling you this, why a degree doesn't make much sense? Well, first of all, because you have to think about how many people are actually graduating each year from your same profession and from your same school. Like, every single year, every single semester, people are graduating from the same thing as you do. And that's only in your school. But what about other schools? What about like another different places in the country? You know what I'm saying? So like, it's quite difficult to actually be outstanding. So what's your competitive advantage? People pay for results, not for knowledge. Like, I can be without any degree, but as long as I can pretty much like show them my results and what I'm able to do, like, they will hire me over someone who has a college degree. Because people like hire because of results. Like, people don't care whether you have the knowledge, people care if you have the results. And also because like AI is overcoming and the online education is becoming so convenient that actually it really doesn't make any sense nowadays. Like, I don't know. I just have like this prediction around like 5 to 10 years, like college will be pretty much obsolete, or it will pretty much evolve completely different into some sort of online education. Because nowadays you can pretty much learn from someone who actually has a result. Like, I have some certain degree of authority because I've been able to generate X amount of money as a college dropout. You know what I'm saying? So like, it really makes sense to learn from someone who actually knows and have the results, instead of just like a random college teacher, which they have the best intentions, but guess what, like, most of them are actually broke, or they don't make any money. So there's people teaching in business degrees, like business degrees, that are not even qualified because they don't even own a business, or they don't even earn the amount of money like you aim to earn. So that's when I was like starting to think like, how come my parents, like, I mean, I'm talking like this amount of money in Mexico is a lot. Like, $1,200 in Mexico is a lot, and like, it just really doesn't add up. Like, this is actually for rich kids type of school, and of course I have some scholarships, and my parents were like getting into debt for this stuff. Like, it's really not worth it. Like, it's really not worth it. And I was actually making them a favor. I told them like, please let me drop out, let me try my business and all that stuff, because like, for me it was like nonsense. The fact they were spending so much money, making a huge sacrifice for something that I'm pretty sure it wouldn't pay off. So how to pretty much make the most as a student. Like, I will definitely suggest starting a business, but let me tell you something. Like, it's really not for everyone. Why I'm telling you it's not for everyone, because you need to be pretty much solving a problem either through service or by selling products. It's not easy. I'm telling you, like, just because I was able to generate like from 0 to 10K a month within the first 3 months, pretty much, well, close to 10K a month in pure, these pure profits, by the way, like, that doesn't mean you can do it. Like, it's not easy. Like, if someone's telling you that business is easy, it's not. It's simple once you understand how, but it's not easy, because like, there's people who are not built for having a business. But I'm telling you, you have to be pretty much making money one way or another. So if you're actually someone who's actually committed and willing to make money and all that stuff, like, trust me, like, it's the best route to follow. But it's not easy. It's not easy. It's simple, but it's not easy. Okay, because you need a skill. But what if I tell you there is a simplified way, pretty much, which only requires mastering one skill? Because I was just very good at one skill and one skill only, and that skill is pretty much the sales skills, how to sell, like your ability to sell to someone. This is the most important thing. That was the main reason why I was able to go from pretty much 0 to 10K within the first 3 months, because I was pretty much selling a service. I was not. I mean, just to give you a little bit of context, I was selling website development services. I was not good at website development. I was not good. I was just very good at convincing my client that what I have is what they need. You know what I'm saying? and therefore I was making all this amount of money. That's how I ended up the year with 84,000 dollars in pure profits. And that's the way pretty much like you are able to make money, because then if you have the sales skills, you are not pretty much limited by AI or different stuff, like, because if you're a cashier or something that can be easily replaceable, like, you're pretty much cooked. You need to be pretty much good at selling something, convincing something your own way. So basically, selling is your way to everything. Selling services or products, selling ideas. What do I mean with selling ideas? For example, it helps you with anything. I sold the idea to my parents to drop out of college. Like, for them, was like, no, 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 you gotta keep going to college and all that stuff, because, like, the degree, like, how can you make money? I'm talking about in 2018, it was not like a huge thing, people making money online. You know what I'm saying? So I actually like sold him the idea. You sell your way into your way. You know what I'm saying? Like, you sell, like, basically the ability to persuade someone into your way to achieve what you want. Your goal as a business when starting out, and I'm emphasizing this, when starting out, is not to be good at X skill, because it takes time. Like, you don't want to be like an expert in website development, because, like, it takes time. And just because you're good at website development, that doesn't mean that you're gonna make money. You know what I'm saying? Because if people don't know about your service, or if people don't actually purchase from you, you're pretty much cooked. But it's your ability to convince people to buy from you, because that's the thing that I was doing. I'm telling you, like, I was like, the website I was building, it was quite shitty, because I was not very good at it. I thought I was good at it. Then I realized, I started like growing and learning, that I was not good at it. But I was very, very good at selling. People were asking me in my hometown, like, coming from Mexico, like, how you make like this amount of money and all that stuff. And I was like, I didn't know how to tell them, because, like, I cannot teach you like how to build a website, because honestly I wasn't proud of it. But I was very good at selling. So I was like, my main skill is actually selling, closing clients, closing, like, convincing people to purchase from you. To give you a little bit more context, like, before that I was trying like e-commerce, and I had a very high conversion rate on my websites, because I was very good at selling, convincing people to purchase from my website. I never managed to achieve the breakthrough, but still I was making some money here and there. But you lose money, like, eventually, if you don't know how to run a business, like, you lose money. So yeah, but basically, this, like, selling was pretty much like my way to success. That's what I'm telling you. Like, you don't have to overcomplicate stuff. The best way to actually start is by pretty much freelancing. That's how I did it. Like, this is like a freelancing platform. I'm talking about Fiverr. I dominate 58% of the world. Like, yeah, this is pretty much from Fiverr. Like, this is Fiverr, as you can see. So yeah, like, basically the whole idea about like starting freelancing and how you can get started is quite simple. Like, you don't have to overcomplicate, because, like, of course, like, the very first thing people will say, like, okay, yeah, like, I understand what you're saying. I should start a business, but how can I start a business? Have I no expertise whatsoever? Well, the very first thing, like, the best thing is freelancing. You only need to be selling something that is on high demand. You know what I'm saying? For example, website development. I was selling a service that was on high demand. People were actually looking for website development services. So your only goal here is to pretty much like offering something that is on really high demand, and to sell it better than the competition. You don't have to be an expert on web development. You don't need to have any skill whatsoever, because the whole idea here is first to sell it to the client. And once you start getting clients, that's when you can pretty much either learning through YouTube University, use ChatGPT, because nowadays super easy. I didn't have ChatGPT back in the day. Or you can pretty much hire someone else for cheap. That's called contract arbitrage, where you can pretty much, like, for example, if you're selling your service for $500, you can hire someone else that would charge you, I don't know, $100, and then you can keep the difference. It's quite simple math, and you don't have to have any skill whatsoever, because your only skill is to get clients, to closing clients. That's the easiest way. That's how I started on Fiverr. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the way I was starting out. And for the record, I didn't start it out because I never thought I was able to make like this amount of money. I started because I was like, oh, I needed money, right? So I was broke. So I was just like, I trying to fund my e-commerce business. So I was like, if I can get like what a few clients from here, like maybe $1,000 a month, and I can sustain my living, I'll be pretty much good. I never thought that you could achieve this amount of money. But the reason why I'm telling you is the best way to get started is because, like, you don't need any money to begin with. Like, I didn't start with any money. I didn't start like with pretty much anything, like zero risk whatsoever, because I was broke. You know what I'm saying? So however, there's like many different ways you can actually start like making money as a student. There's a lot of people I know that's making money like through e-commerce, like drop shipping e-commerce, wap clipping, which seems to be like a pretty much a new thing. You can do trading, you can do AI services. There's people doing crypto and whatnot. But when you're a student, like, the odds are that you pretty much don't have any money, right? So I would definitely suggest like freelancing, because you don't need any money to begin with. You can freelance. These and actually, like, something I wanted to emphasize, that you can actually like a freelance this as a service. You know what I'm saying? On Fiverr.com, you can pretty much offer e-commerce services, maybe some co-op services, AI services. Like, you can pretty much leverage Fiverr, because here's the beauty about Fiverr. With Fiverr, you don't need any money to begin with. Also, you don't have to register a business, and you don't need to have any risk whatsoever. Also, like, you need to have a, this is very important because as a student, like, you don't have like sometimes the ability to pretty much register a business or have payment processors. Fiverr pays you as long as you have a PayPal. You can either hold the money on Fiverr or just like connect your Payoneer or PayPal account. Pretty much anybody can have one, you know. And this is a thing because it's very hard sometimes to actually get approved for a registered business and getting like a legal Stripe account and all that stuff, like complex stuff, you know. And this can pretty much like be a stepping stone towards making money. And you know, like, this is the best way that I was able to pretty much found to make money. Actually, I stumbled upon it like until I realized how easy it was. I was like, why do people never start Fiverr? And the reason is because like most people don't know how Fiverr works, you know. Like 98% of the sellers from Fiverr like never managed to see this amount of money because they don't know how it works. They don't know how it works, and they don't know how to pretty much like sell. You know, that's a like, it took me around like 12 months to become like the number one in my category, which was pretty much in January 2021. And the reason being was my competition was whack. So I was just out competing them because I was very good at selling. I was very good at convincing my client that my service was better than the others, you know. So that's pretty much the way I was able to make this amount of money. So that's pretty much it. Like, you don't have any risk. Like, the only thing you have to have, like, you have to be patient. But honestly, like, you don't need to be like an expert at anything, you know. And this is something very important because a lot of people like get stuck into the idea like they have to become an expert on, let's say, website development and all that stuff. Of course, you need to be providing value to people, but the way you actually start making money is by pretty much closing client, by pretty much like convincing someone that what they want is that what you have is what they want. You know, like, it's literally that simple. But I'm gonna be completely honest, like, just because it's simple, that doesn't mean it's easy. You know, like, because like most people, as I was telling you, 98 or 99% of the people never manage to get like this amount of money because, of course, Fiverr is a platform where you need to understand how it works. You know, most people don't know how it works, and it's quite hard because people say like, oh, but I don't get any clients, I don't get like into the first pages and everything. Like, I'm not getting. There's a ton of sellers on Fiverr, a ton. So like, I know like why these people are concerned about that, you know. So trust me, it's really like not complicated, but you know, it goes much more beyond than just putting a service and, you know, try to sell. You know, like, of course, it goes much more than that. But I'm telling you because like this is a very easy way to get started, especially as a student, because again, there's no risk whatsoever in getting started. Like, you have unlimited shots because like you don't have to spend any money, and that's the beauty of it. Like, when I was starting out, I was just amazed the fact that I was sometimes even waking up to $1,000 in pure profits because people were purchasing my service without even closing them. They already like were purchasing from me, and I didn't have to spend any money, you know. So it was crazy. And I mean, I wouldn't suggest to like quit college or like drop out of college, you know, like, but at least give it a try. Give it a try to do something for yourself, like try and earning a little bit of money. And if everything starts working and everything, then you can consider like quitting out of school. I wouldn't suggest like just quitting out of school and not having anything else, you know. And please do not listen to the opinion of other people unless they have the results you want to achieve. It doesn't matter what your friends say, it doesn't matter what your parents say, it only matters what you want and what you want to achieve.